Alright, here's a weekend update. I know it's Tuesday. Been kind of busy. We've got 70 more chicks coming in this upcoming week. Hopefully tomorrow, Wednesday or Thursday. I believe that they're due. The kids got carried away with painting the box, and I'll put the other 70 in. And then here's how the other 68 look. I ended up losing a couple more, whatever. They're looking pretty good. They're staying away from the heat lamp, so at least it's warm enough in there for them. These little waters, which I gotta change out, have these little stilts on them so that way they don't kick up a bunch of feed like they do in here, and then it becomes like a sludge. So I gotta clean this one out, add water to this one, but these ones stay cleaner for a little bit longer, but they're kicking around, so whatever. And then actually what I've been using for smell, which has been working out a lot better than wood shavings, is equine pelletized bedding. And that's been working out super amazing. Yeah, painted everywhere. They also painted my floor too. But what are you gonna do? They decided to have fun on Sunday, so we let them have fun and paint over a bunch of stuff. And then for the pigs, I pulled a bunch of T-posts and redid a bunch of fencing so that way they would hopefully not get out and try to escape. So that way we could use their pen as, which I have to leave them in here until I move the water over into the barn. I've got to pull out the weeds and whatnot, but I rake this out down to here. That's got to get wheelbarrowed out. This is all ryegrass, which should hopefully come up in another day or two. It's been into the 50s in the mornings. But we're going to run the extra chickens because I only have enough space in the chicken tractors for about 106 chickens. And we'll end up with about 140, 138, 140, whatever. And then, so I got to put 38 somewhere. So we're going to try running them in here and then run them in quadrants in this thing. And once we get the fencing for the piglets tidied up, I'm gonna run some hot fence because they were trying to get underneath today. They're kicking it up with their nose. Not trying to, it is what it is. But then I'll run hot fence so that way they stay away from the fence. Then I'll feel more comfortable with letting them out into the field. And then with this little pen, I'm gonna seed with ryegrass, run chickens in it. Then when the chickens are about done, excuse me. And then when the chickens are done, I'll throw out a bunch of turnips. So that way the turnips start going, and then the pigs will tear up the ground for the turnips, and I can rotate them through like that. Here's an update on my radishes. They're getting some nice leaves. They're a little thick, but I just broadcasted them as a trial and error type thing. The old guy at work said once they get up to about here, so about 6 or 8 inches, then you start pulling them off and freezing them for turnip greens. We also decided to go ahead and row up the garden where we had the pigs at first. And I just watered it a little bit ago, but it's nice and dark looking. I'm contemplating throwing up some lime on at least half of it just to watch to see what happens, if it makes a difference. Because lime is supposed to be caustic, and it's also supposed to inhibit bacterial growth in the ground, which, in my theory, you kind of need the bacterial growth to help break down the animal waste that you just tilled in. So I'm gonna do half and see what happens. But I've got, what do we do? 2 rows of kaleidoscope carrots. I think 1 or 2 rows of regular carrots. And then we did 2 rows of sugar beets, 2 rows of broccoli, and a row of arugula. because I like arugula. Shanae likes arugula. It's nice and peppery. It's good for salads. It's crunchy. It's really good sauteed. And then the little pigs seem to like being out to forage around. They were out eating grass a little bit earlier, and we had solidified the run. This is the run from the other side. So that we solidified the run a little bit better. I want to still put corner posts and tighten everything up, but that'll come in time depending on the springtime and if we decide to pick up any more land. But that's what the little Hereford on the right looks like. My little Berkshire. We actually ended up selling the second. We sold the second Berkshire on Friday to my buddy's buddy. He decided he'd take it and give it a whirl, so we said, have at it. So we'll see what happens come of that, because I'm sure I'll get pictures and be able to kind of watch along, just depending. Because we were curious, but we didn't want to put in the time or the money or the effort. So my Satsumas, some of my Satsumas are actually starting to turn. And then let's see if I can find a big one in here. And by big, I mean this year's crop has been pretty good looking so far. Spiders and stuff. I mean, this is like almost the size of a navel orange. And they already taste pretty good. I like them when they're green and a little sour. But they eventually will turn orange and sweeten up. But I like them when they're sour, so whatever. The dog. The dog was barking at some coyotes last night. Came out here at 11 o'clock just to check the yard and everything because it was going crazy. So, well, she's doing her job. That's what she's supposed to do, is bark. So that's good. Can't go wrong with that. Feeder pigs. We didn't really do anything with the feeder pigs this weekend other than feed them some feed, some more feed. We picked up some extra, a different kind of feed on Friday, and all the pigs like it, so it was a plus. But that one's eating away. They're starting to dig a little bit more into the middle, which is good. We got about 3 weeks until they head to the processor, so I'm super excited for that. But hey, buddy. But they still seem pretty stoked. Pretty chill. They don't do a whole lot other than eat and grunt or bark. Oh, this is so the run comes around from the, I don't want to touch this hot fence, it's super hot. Comes around underneath the fig tree, underneath the pecan tree, around this other pecan tree where I have the solar set up. And then we corner off here. The pigs have been doing really good with running out to the field when they want to run. And then also this weekend I mowed the field. We put up some extra T-posts. I pulled out the T-posts from that secondary field to stick in here so that way it could help kind of prop it up a little bit, because all I had was sheep. And the sheep didn't even challenge the fence, but the pigs just kind of nose around, and once they figure out that they can get the fence up, they'll come underneath. Well, they did so far, so we'll see. But I mowed this, raked it, let it dry for 2 days. Then the kids helped take it and throw it into a wheelbarrow, to which I put one wheelbarrow in with the feeder pigs, 2 or 3 barrels in with the chickens, and then a wheelbarrow or 2 in with the little pigs. And look at them, they look so good. And I don't think they look overly fatty. They should be alright. We'll see what happens. And then, so what I do with the chickens is I throw hay in with the chickens, and it's full pieces of hay, and then it comes out looking like this, to where it's a bunch of dirt mixed with chicken poo mixed with the hay. And so far that's done us really well with the gardens. And with the other animals, I mix it in with their manure, so it ends up a little more hay heavy. That ends up being really good for helping keep down weeds while the manure breaks down. But this chicken manure, that's dirt, Shania threw it in underneath the tomato plants when we transplanted them, and between the two gardens, because she only did it in one garden, it was a difference within a couple weeks of about, they went from pinky size in one garden to thumb size in the other garden. So it was kind of interesting to see. Other than that, for the week or weekend, whatever, like I said, I should have more chickens coming in the next day or two. I'll make another video on that, just so I can show how I do chickens with dipping them into the water and sticking them in the box, which they have to go in a box at this point. Probably this upcoming weekend, hopefully the bigger chickens will have enough feathers to go out into a tractor. Whether I put a light or not in that tractor depends on the weather. It's supposed to get back up into the mid 60s at night rather than low 50s. It's been really chilly, which, I know mid 50s isn't chilly, low 50s is not chilly, but you couldn't see your breath. So that's always a plus, but it was still chilly for down here. Everything was all huddled up together. But here's the little pigs in the they just rode around. They're up underneath a pecan tree right now. Maybe looking for some pecans that dropped. I don't know. There's also a big oak tree right here. This is a little pecan tree that comes up. This overhanging tree right here is a fig tree, super old. Kind of want to cut it down. It almost blew over in the hurricane last year. I did some T-posts and some ratchet straps and drug it back with the truck to try to get it to stand up. So it came back to life. We'll see what happens next year fruiting wise. This year all it did was it got figs. They got real mushy and then bugs attacked them. So I don't know, we'll see. This is my blueberry. It needs to get taken care of. It's probably 9-10 feet tall, but it does produce blueberries over the entire thing. And then this is one of the oak trees that sits up over the run, so I don't know. We shall see. But they're funny. They like making noise. Little pigs. Threw out a bunch of grass seed too this weekend, hopefully to clean up the yard a little bit, because it looks kind of trashy with all the dead spots and different grasses that are starting to die early on. So I tried to overseeding it with a little bit of bahia grass and ryegrass just to get something to stay green. I want to do most of the yard in winter rye, so that way, I mean, it kind of sucked to mow all winter long, but it looked kind of cool. I did end up trimming my lemon tree down a little bit because it had a bunch of bug looking leaf problems, so I did that. I've got to order like they have frost tunnels, but they also have the same type of fabric that goes up over a tree that you can zip up. So I'm going to order some of that here pretty soon because I need that. My lemon tree almost died last year. That's why the lemon tree was that tall, and the lime tree is this tall, and grapefruit tree is that tall. Because for the lemon tree, and then that one is a loquat, which is a Japanese plum, and a olive tree. Olive tree did not have any olives. It had one olive when we first got it. It has nothing now. We'll see what happens in a year or two. They're supposed to be hard to do down here just based on the fact that it gets so humid and moldy that the blossoms mold and fall off. I guess so I've heard, so we'll see. But last year, for the 2 or 3 days that it hit 19 degrees, I panicked. I threw 2 hay bales around the lemon tree because that's the first one that I wanted to keep. I didn't really care. I figured I'd just redo the other ones. I did 2 hay bales, some wire, a tarp, some T-posts, and that's why it ended up being about almost 3 times as tall, which I trimmed back yesterday, Sunday. So that is my update for the weekend. And then I'll probably do another update later this week when we get the other chickens in, the baby chicks, just to show what I do when I get them. Or Shania will do a video and I'll post it about what we do when we get chicks. And then we'll see what we do this upcoming weekend, which is probably a hot fence, scrape out some more stuff, and I don't know. We'll see. Every weekend there's something. So, alright.